yourself, hey, how can I utilize the equity in my home in order to renovate my property? I'm going to walk you through some things you need to be thinking about in tapping into your equity in your home. First of all, you have to decide, am I doing the work myself or am I using somebody else to do the work? That's a really, really important thing you're going to have to figure out as we look at different financing options. The second thing you need to look at is, do I have the equity in the property now based on what condition it's in before the work is done in order to pull the cash out? Or do I need to utilize the equity that will exist once the work is done? And don't make the mistake of thinking, well, I owe $400,000 on my house. It's worth $500,000. So I've got $100,000 in equity that I can pull out to do work on my home. It doesn't work that way. The bank won't let you pull out 100% of what your home is worth. As a matter of fact, most cash out refinances, you can't get more than 80% of what the home is worth. And you'd say, okay, John, well, then I can make 80 grand work because there's 100,000 in equity. I owe 400. The house is worth 500. So I got 100,000 in equity. And you said I can borrow 80% of the value of the home. That is not how the math works. The most you can borrow on a $500,000 home at 80% is 80% of the 500, which means you can't borrow more than 400 and you already owe 400. So in that case, you have zero lendable equity in its current condition. You say, but wait, John, if I put $50,000 of work into my home, it'll be worth $60,000 more than what it's worth today. So the house will be worth $560,000 when I am done doing the work. So can't you loan that to me? Because 80% of 560,000, what is that? 112,000 remaining equity necessary. So we're talking about 448,000 is the most you could owe. If your house was worth 460, you're like, yeah, okay, 48 grand. That's close enough. But I can't let you tap into the future equity if you're doing a traditional cash out refinance. Now I have a solution for you, and it's called a renovation loan. A renovation loan allows you to base your loan on what the house is going to be worth after the home is finished. You don't have to wait for the work to be done, but you can't do the work yourself. You have to hire a contractor. You have to hire a licensed contractor. You have to pay normal market cost. You can't bring your best friend over who has a license who's going to do it for you on the cheap, because we are assuming this work is going to be completed in a timely manner and in a workmanlike manner, and it's going to be done with the money that we've set aside. And if you say, John, I can do it for half the normal cost because my buddy's going to do all the work, what if your buddy changes his mind? What if your buddy is unable to do the work? Something happens to that person or their business, and they can't continue to do the work for you. There isn't enough money set aside to pay a normal person a normal wage. So normal labor cost. So in order to do a refinance to renovate your home based on what it'll be worth after the work is done, we have to do it with what is called a renovation loan. You have to hire a contractor that you're not related to. You have to pay, you can shop around, but you have to pay basic market rates. And watch out when you're shopping around, because this project requires a lot of paperwork. Most contractors are going to fill out a single sheet of paper and say, hey, we're going to remodel the master bedroom. We're going to replace all the cabinets. We're going to reuse some of the cabinets as discussed. We're going to replace all of the light fixtures and none of the bathroom fixtures. And we're going to do the same thing in the kitchen. And that's it on a single sheet of paper. That is not enough for a renovation loan. You have to give a detailed bid. You have to give us room by room, itemized on what the cost of the material, what the cost of the labor is, so that we can break it all down and visualize item by item what it's going to look like, so we can determine what the house will be worth when you're done. So you're going to have to hire a contractor that has the bandwidth, the time to do that. That is not your common contractor that's a one-man show. You've got to find somebody who has a back office, somebody who has a person who can handle the paperwork for them, because many contractors are out doing the work and they're not in business to do the paperwork. But here's the best thing about it. We can loan you even more than what the house is worth once the work is completed. Now you say, why is that a good idea? Because you're getting the house that you want. You're getting the house with the upgrades that you want. And sometimes the upgrades you want don't deliver the value in the property today. And so as that example where you have a house right now that you owe $400,000 on, and it's worth $500,000. And you say, John, I need $150,000 to do work on this home. And I'm going to turn it into the most beautiful home and everything I need. So I need you to loan me $550,000. But when the appraiser goes out, the appraiser says, look, you're over improving for your neighborhood. Nobody's going to pay for the things that you are putting in there. And you're like, yeah, but I'm planning on dying here. I'm going to live here forever. I'm going to enjoy these things. I don't care what somebody's going to pay for them. And so the appraiser says, look, the stuff you're doing, a lot of it doesn't add any value. Some of it adds value. So the house is going to be worth $540,000 when you're done. You're putting $150,000 into a home that was worth $500,000 and it's only going up by $40,000. Now that's a gross overestimation of how bad it could be, but I can still do it. I can loan you up to 110% of what the house would be worth after the repairs are completed, because we know not all repairs are going to show immediate increase in value. Some renovations make your house more marketable, make it more appealing, but not more valuable. Think about a house that has brand new flooring, upgraded flooring throughout the entire house, and you got another house next door that has not as good a flooring. But it's fine, the flooring's in fine shape, it's just not as high quality of flooring. And you're on a budget, and interest rates are high. Are you going to spend more to buy the house with nicer flooring? Are you going to spend anything more? A lot of times people are like, look, for the same price, I'll buy the one with the nice flooring. But if I have to pay extra for that house, I'm not going to. I'd rather buy the house that has the little bit older flooring, buy the house that has the older home and the older roof and the older air conditioner, instead of that house that has a brand new roof and a brand new air conditioner. Sure, I probably won't need to replace the roof or air conditioner for a while if I bought the other one. But people aren't very long-term thinkers when they're looking at buying a home. They want a deal on the house. And so those upgrades might make it more appealing to buy your home, but it's not necessarily going to make it more valuable. And don't get me started on solar. The truth is, everybody says, oh my gosh, I put solar in my house, it's going to make it more valuable. Almost never. Unless you are paying cash for the solar and paying it off, all you're doing is forcing someone else to take over the solar that you've put on there. You put solar on your home, all you've literally done is signed a contract saying the next person you sell your home to has to pay that solar company. You've actually taken choices away from them instead of giving them a better deal. You're not writing a check for anything. Most solar programs, you don't write a check for anything up front. So how does that make your home more valuable when all you did was added a contract that the buyer is required to take on their responsibility to take on that payment? You didn't write a check for anything. If you didn't have solar, they could have picked their own solar company, because nobody wrote a check up front to pay for the solar in 99% of the situations. So be careful what upgrades you're putting into the home. But recognize there are lots of ways to fix up your home, and there's lots of ways to do it, even if you don't think you have very much equity. Even if you just bought the home 2 years ago and values have been staying pretty steady and they haven't increased very much. Like, John, you're talking about a house that has $100,000 in equity. Mine has none. Okay. So you owe $480 on your $500,000 house. And you say, John, I need $100,000 to fix up my house. That means I need to loan you $580. Well, as long as that $100,000 raises the price of your home from $500 to $535, I can loan you the $580. I can give you the $100,000 you need out of the home, even though it didn't raise the price of value by more than $35,000, because of how the loan program is structured. I've got lots of knowledge on how to make this happen, and I'd love to talk you through your options. There's lots of restrictions with different choices and different ways to go. But the fact is, you need to start somewhere, and I'm encouraging you to start with me. There should be a QR code or a link floating around here for you to schedule a call so that we can get together and talk about your options. In the meantime, click the link down below or the other QR code floating around about my Home Equity Digest. It's a free monthly digest that comes to you every single month, giving you an idea of what your home is worth, how much you owe on your mortgage. Well, you already know what you owe on your mortgage, but it tells you how much went to principal versus interest every single, the entire time since you bought the home. More importantly, it breaks down different ways you can utilize the equity in your home. How much cash could you pull out and what's it going to cost you? How much extra can you add to your mortgage payment to pay it off faster? There are tools and graphics within that monthly email that help you manage the biggest asset in your life, which is your home equity. Allow me to help you. I am interviewing for the job of being your home equity manager, and I want to help you make wise decisions on how to use that to grow your wealth and your comfort in your home going forward. Thanks so much for listening. Hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.